What is an oil tank decommissioning certificate and when should you ask about one? Well, a lot of buyers don't always think about the history of an old home and how that home may have been heated. We often see furnaces or electric heaters in homes and don't really think about the fact that if it's an older home, it may have been heated through oil in the past. Now, living in Seattle, there's a lot of old homes and I often see oil tanks inside or outside of homes quite frequently that are still in use. However, sometimes I go into a home and it's running off a furnace, and when we look back at the history, we can see that at some point there was an oil tank. Well, we hope that that oil tank was decommissioned. And what that means is it was put to bed in a very safe way so that it wouldn't become hazardous for the soil or the environment. When an oil tank is decommissioned, the ideal situation is that they drain all the oil out of that tank, thoroughly clean it, and remove it. Well, sometimes they can't remove that oil tank. It could be that perhaps it is located under the home in a crawl space or under a porch that is difficult to get to. Well, the ideal situation is if you can't remove the tank completely, that you drain the oil, you completely clean and soil it, and cut that top part open, fill it with a safe substance, and then re-bury it in the ground. So that would be the next best case scenario if you're not able to remove it completely. Another alternative that will sometimes happen is people will put sand into that oil tank to decommission it. Not ideal because you definitely want to get all the oil out. But if that oil tank was taken care of properly, there should be a decommissioning certificate on file. Now, depending on where you live, that may be a different office that holds that. In Seattle, it is through the fire department, so we can get that there. Sometimes it's through a health department or a county office. It really depends on where you live. But having that certificate can be reassurance that you're not going to be dealing with a costly cleanup. Say that you have an old oil tank that wasn't disposed of properly and has been leaking in the soil. Well, to clean up that soil could be thousands of dollars and very costly. So before making an offer on a home, if that home had oil in its history, the right thing to do is see if you have that oil decommissioning certificate, or know that if you're going to need to buy that home, you're running the risk of that oil tank still being there and a possible cleanup.